Hello guys, gals and non-binary pals, and welcome back to the web, where today we're branching out the content a little bit, not a new mod unfortunately, but we're going to cover some battles that I've played in multiplayer, just to get people, I don't know, a bit interested in it, and also keep the channel alive in between when I drop new mods. So this is actually a perfect example of how you kind of want to deal with the Dowie as the Lizardmen, as it's a bit of a tough matchup as you can't really match them toe to toe in infantry, so you got to try it kind of other ways. Okay, so this is a pretty similar build to the one I'm kind of in love with at the moment. Bring the Umbral Tide, they're good. Not super useful. I thought they had armor piercing missile strength, but apparently they don't, so blunder on my part. What else do we have? Two Saurus with shields, one over here, one over here. I was going to play the side objectives originally, but I realized they did bring 3 points of artillery, which is going to give them great pressure on that objective and that objective. And because they've got hammers, iron breakers, nothing in the Lizardmen roster is going to trade well in melee with those guys. So it's a pretty well thought out build actually. The only thing I would probably add if I was the Dwarves here would be spread out their Quarrelers a little bit further so they can shoot inwards when I try and send some stuff to shut it all down. And also maybe some Slayers, because I don't think they had any of those in the reserves. So yeah, for our side, I'm a bit indecisive here because I'm thinking, well, how am I going to play with this? Because it's not a unfavored matchup for the Lizardmen, this one, but it's definitely not super ideal all the time. Like this kind of thing, if I kind of go head to head, I'm going to get absolutely crushed. So I'm probably going to try a bit of an alpha strike, keep some stuff back here, and then once I get enough of an air force, I'm going to just go straight for their back line. So this I mean, like, even Longbeards, nothing, there's no armor piercing, anti-infantry, high tier, Lizardmen infantry. So, all these four, nothing's going to trade well, and all the hunting packs are going to get absolutely massacred by the three Quarrelers. So it's pretty well thought out, actually, like, respect rich due and all that. So I got my two vets here just hiding from the artillery. These guys are stalks, they can do whatever they want. But it's not a lot for them to do. I did spend a lot of time shooting at hammers with them because I did think they had armor piercing for some reason, not sure why. Razordons are actually the ones that have armor piercing. If you do want anti-large and armor piercing, try and take the Ancient Salamander, since I'm pretty sure that comes in with both. And is generally a pretty good pick. So yeah, like you can see here, I was kind of getting ready to push for the objective. So I thought he was going to come around and secure that, which I thought was a bit strange because he's got all that artillery pressure. Initially, I do come in with the Razordons, like the hunting packs, trying to get some good picks in the hammers, but they do not die. 100 armor. It doesn't seem like they have any missile resist, but they just... I had one that got about only 700 value just shooting into them the entire time. So that's a bit of an issue. The Lord here is a pretty basic Lord, so he didn't bring any kind of runes. So you'll see here, once the counter shooting starts coming in, just absolutely dip out of there. What's that yet? Under the artillery fire as well. So yeah, this is the issue. I've got to get rid of this, especially the shooting. And I think some point... Oh, there they are, already sent them through. So I've got the Pterodons. I initially try and send them in, but he sees them and brings up some infantry. So I have to wait for... Here we go, the Ripidactyl Riders. These guys are fantastic against the Dowie. Like, if you want to get into a bit more competitive Lizardman playing, the main DLC I'd recommend would be Tehenuan's DLC. Prophet and the Warlock, I think it is. Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure that comes in with Ripidactyl and the hunting packs, who are really your two most important sets of units. So, yeah, he's basically dominating this side. I've got a little bit there, sending the Bastillodon up. I really could be contesting, I do, now. I didn't even see the Quarrelers. But this is actually a really good pick for me at the moment, because the Feral Cold Ones can just come in. They'll chew the Quarrelers apart. They're alright against infantry, but these guys got armor piercing, so... And then we've got the Ripidactyl Riders coming in. These guys are shooting in. See, absolutely no damage whatsoever. Could just be the accuracy, because they seem to be missing a lot. Let's see what they got. They got more Longbeards coming in. So yeah, it seems their plan really is to just dominate with lots of high armor infantry. Razordons, which are like the main anti-armor, doing absolutely no damage. Oh, here we go. So yeah, these guys, now they're 80 armor, not ideal still, but they do a lot better. Coming into that. They're getting chewed apart with Feral Cold Ones. And yeah, because he's moved his Quarrelers, he's really should have some back here, and they could shoot into the Ripperdactyls. And here comes the bombing run here. So here's kind of the 1-2. These will get stuck in, and this I was actually pretty proud of. This is how you deal with artillery as the Lizardmen, because your own artillery really doesn't trade effectively at all. Got the nice rock drop there. So that's, if you don't know, it's an ability they have. Literally just rock drop on people. So yeah, hit the grudge throwers. Not huge damage, but the real... Now they've done that, Umbral Tide's coming in. If he'd done the envelop with the hammers, that would have been really bad for me. But he really wants to recapture this objective here. Yeah, the middle. These are the guys I was talking about. They're just getting free range these hammers, and they're getting absolutely no value. But that might just be because they're missing a lot. Do woods decrease accuracy? They might. I know they decrease certain things, but... So yeah, get the Bastiladon, just keep right-clicking, spamming it into the Quarrelers. There's nothing Longbeards can do, they don't really have enough mass. These guys are shooting it nicely. They're tearing apart. We do have the issue with this guy, but he's really overextended. So I think we do get a bit of a nice pick, because we bring up 2 veterans. And yeah, we do not have enough weight, we can't really contest that. Cold ones will go up eventually. He's brought more hammers out. Really, if we had another good pick, if you don't want to bring the Life Priest, or even if you do, you can bring Comet of Cassandora on top of a, what is it, a Skink Mage Priest of Heavens. And it's great for things like this. They're all bunched around the Bastiladon, you just pop it like here. He's on a Pterodon, he's about 900 gold, I think. And he nearly always pays for himself. The only thing is, oh, that's pretty bad. So yeah, that's also a good tech. But yeah, so I really should be moving these Feral Cold ones up, because the hammers are there. So yeah, there we go. So I sent the Feral Cold ones down through the bushes this way, and they're going to chase all that off, so it can't come back. So this is what I mean. Plane to mobility really is the only way that the Lizardmen can kind of win these kind of fights, because you'll lose the straight melee, you'll lose the straight range. But because the Dwarves are so slow, you can afford to just kind of, you pop the point, you get a lot of cheap cavalry. And because their Longbeards are so slow, although, how much? Yeah, 260. They wasted a lot of ammo, actually. But yeah, this is what I mean. The Saurus veterans, no, the Saurus with shields who were here, they got absolutely wrecked. But now we got a bit of, I was actually, like, stressing. It's like, oh my god, these guys do no damage. But that's because they got 100 armor. These guys, no armor piercing. This guy, though, Ancient Salamander, yeah, he's not ancient. He is armor piercing, though, and he gives the flammable. So, actually a pretty good mix between these two, because these guys do fire damage, obviously. And this guy is getting turned into a chew toy. This is why I like bringing 2 of them. It's just nice. They attack alternatively. It's a good pick, and they're anti-large. So if you've ever seen, like, Empire with Karl Franz, or Malekith, if you've ever seen the Dark Elves, always a good pick. Oh, these Razdons got caught by the Ironbreakers. That's the issue. Ironbreaker's pretty annoying unit. But this back, just out of the back here, absolutely doing fantastically. Grudge Throwers are still online, which is crazy to think about. Bastiladon's kind of... I think he's attacking the artillery. Yeah, I hope so. I know what else we're bringing in. Oh yeah, this was just me bringing in Killian Stalkers. Pop them on the point, they're invisible. So yeah, these guys, exhausted, used all their ammunition, and they have got a total of 736 value against hammers, who are a very expensive unit. So, I probably should have just got rid of these, refunded those 2. They're shooting in. I don't know, Umbral Tide loves getting in melee, despite never getting orders for it. Red Crested Skinks, absolutely useless unit, sorry to say, to any of the lovers. I love them too, look fantastic, but all they're good for is not routing as quickly as normal skinks and having full capture weight of infantry. I think I send 2 sets of them up against some infantry later, and they get absolutely clapped. So yeah, back. So this is really what you want to do against the Dwarves. He keeps sending Quarrelers in. If I was him, I'd start using this reinforcement point, that reinforcement point, bring in some crossfire, because these guys are very brittle, like you'll see here. They're taking a bit of damage from the Quarrelers. Ironbreakers, one on the ground, would also do quite well. There's no point throwing at the Bastiladon. It's got 140 armor, so they're not going to do much. These guys are just running around routing stuff. We're bringing the hunting packs around, all out of ammo. What a lot of people forget, these guys have 70 plus speed. They're basically cavalry, sort of. Don't use them to fight in straight melee, they will lose, but like running off or other units, it's pretty good use of their time. Also, these guys should be definitely retreated. What else? Oh yeah, we brought out the Cryswar, didn't we? They did alright. I thought maybe I brought these guys. I always like bringing these guys just because I like their models, but I thought they might be the saving grace for our front line, since they are anti-infantry armor piercing. And I even popped them with, because it is a light priest, with Barona's Time Warp, right? Extra 24 melee attack. You'll see that in a sec, but it did not work. Oh, here's the Rescuers Skinks, yeah. Incredibly useful unit. Sorry to dig into them. I know a lot of people do like them. I love them too. But yeah, they just get absolutely clapped by these hammers. And you could argue, yeah, it's a higher tier unit, but they don't even pay for themselves. Although I suppose getting shot into the back probably isn't helping that much. I think I do bring them around. Yeah, I bring them around for the circum. So yeah, I've kind of buggered off their back line. They're kind of only bringing in melee, and there's no point sending Ripidactyls into straight melee against hammerers. They'll probably just lose. Although, because they have been forced to bring off their units to come deal with these, we're getting some pretty good picks in the middle, actually. So, ideally, these guys should be covered with chaff. So you pop the Barona's Time Walk. Maybe a bit too early, but I was ambitious, you know. See how this works. Pop them up to 53, 58 speed, 53 melee attack. So I wasn't really keen. We'll have to see how this goes, because this might be a tech that I'm interested in using. I actually thought about using it on the Red-Crested Skinks as well, just to help them trade a bit more effectively. We're bringing in Molsaurus. These guys just in there. They don't do anything for the rest of the game. That's sloppy micro. That's also not great micro. And yeah, he just keeps summoning Quarrelers. So yeah, here's really where you want Slayers out. Just pop the Slayers in the back line, and they'll tear these guys to pieces, because there's an anti-large variant, I believe. And I'm just summoning more 450 gold cold ones. Who... Oof, Jesus, look at that. That's why I love hunting packs so much. I actually have a mod for these. Yeah, there's an ancient Razordon version I have, which is like a short-range shotgun. Still working on a mount version of that. So yeah, these guys, and the great thing is, especially against the Dwarves, they have, what, 70 speed, 75 speed, just run away. Because I don't really need to, well, there's no way I can fight hammers head on. And like I said, these guys got absolutely crushed. If anyone knows any good techs on how to get these guys to work properly, I mean, they fought basically to the death. And they got, what, 400 gold, basically 400 gold by the time they die. I was thinking about maybe popping with a Light of Battle, giving them breakable. But breaking too early isn't really the issue for them, it's, well, not dying. Now that it's kind of run out, you can, the extra melee attack buff, you can see these guys aren't doing exactly too hot. These guys are shooting into a tree. That's probably the best micro, or giant obelisk. Got the Feral Cold ones for... See, that's the issue. Although, I have to check the health. Maybe they did do sort of alright. I'm not really sure. The only thing is I don't have any kind of magic for the blob, so I really need to rely on the hunting packs. I got a couple back here who have just retreated off that point. Still giving their backline absolute hell with all the Ripidactyls. Again, this is why I reckon if you're going to get one DLC for the Lizardmen, I would definitely recommend the Tehennowin one, if you want to do a bit of multiplayer. Because without the hunting packs, the Ripidactyls, this would be a lot harder. I'd still have the Feral Cold ones, but they're easily pretty blocked, especially if they did bring Slayers. Get the backwards charge. This was a, it was the Barona's Time Warp against, or the extra melee attack. Oh, but Star Player Meta, okay, that explains why they're doing so terribly earlier. Debuff on that. But yeah, even then, I'm not sure. Buffs have never been particularly strong, but I feel like if you want to do a bit more skink-centric, which I've been looking at doing for a while now, you really need to use your buffs. Like the Unbreakable seems like a good one from the Light Priest. Net's pretty good if you get some skink skirmishes and stuff. They can do pretty good damage, actually. And the Barona's Time Warp's the main one, because Lizardmen really do lack melee attack. These guys are just getting shot into. So the value trading is actually doing pretty well. But But yeah, if this is happening to you and you're playing the Dwarves, the tech definitely is bring some, I can't remember what the unit called, but there's the gunline version and Slayers. Slayers would kill this entire, like, everything here, basically. They're large. And they're not quick enough, but in order to actually protect your backline, that's what you need. I'm not even sure why. I don't know why I bring Chameleon Stalkers. They're alright, under certain. Like, I think they're the highest melee defense of any skink unit, and they're 48 speed, but they're generally just never worth bringing. These guys, yeah. Cryswar are fun to use, but they never really seem to trade as well as they maybe should against higher tier infantry. It might be the armor piercing. I think they do have armor piercing, but yeah, 70. Okay, plus a 20, 25. So this is really where they should shine. I mean, I guess the Dawi are pretty tough infantry. This guy has not been touched basically the entire battle, done 0 damage. So he's just been doing buffs, but... And yeah, so now these guys are running out of ammunition. You get basically free 70 speed cavalry. Although we have actual cavalry here that are just standing there for some reason. Ancient Salamander got nerfed into the ground a couple times. It's alright these days. It's kind of objectively worse than basically any other than the normal hunting packs, which are cheaper and do a lot better AoE damage. But this is like single entity, so it's easier to heal. And it has like the Razordon's AP damage and gives flammable. So I guess there's an argument for it. Yeah, his backline's still getting... I don't know why he keeps summoning Quarrelers. Great weapons, slightly better, but if like he just had like a hammer unit and then summon the Quarrelers, do a lot better. And yeah, that's game. Looks like, looking at the points. So that's kind of how it all ended up at. A bit of sloppy micro on my part with some of the summons. But yeah, so this is the way you really want to fight Dwarves. Especially the hammers and stuff. You cannot fight the hammers like head to head. Not the Lizardmen. Maybe if you had... What? I think Dark Elves could probably pull it off. They have some armor piercing. Anti-infantry units. They're pretty brittle. But yeah, it is just a bit of an issue of the Lizardmen's... I guess unit roster. For some reason, they don't have any kind of anti-infantry infantry. But, I mean, they have plenty of it, like the Bastiladon's anti-infantry. And the, whatever the Triceratops is called. That one also anti-infantry. So just looking at the value, 2,000 value on these guys, which they probably weren't worth bringing, honestly. Probably should have brought an extra Ancient Salamander if I was going to pay that much for it, because at least that's armor piercing. This guy got 0 kills, 0 damage, and 0 gold value. Fighting is just simply beneath the Slan Mage Priest. These guys did alright. They killed the... What do you call it? The Lord. So that was alright. Saurus did fine. These guys actually did pretty terribly, relatively. This guy got 1.2, which is... He's worth 800 gold, so not too bad. But the other one... I'm not sure which one was the one shooting into the... Whoever was shooting into the hammers did absolutely nothing. Terrible shots. And what do we have here? Yeah, Pharaoh he did fine. Pharaoh are pretty cost effective just to send into the back line. 650 gold. So yeah, cheaper than a Saurus. Even Saurus without shields. 140 armor. Just pop them into the back line. They're an absolute trek to remove. As long as you keep their single entities. So like, if you're versing the Empire, sending Pharaoh into the back, great tech. Absolutely fantastic play. Unless there's Carl Franz, because he'll just like route the thing in about 3 seconds. And Pharaoh Cold ones, for 450 gold, they're fantastic. Bop them into the enemy backline. All good. The Ripid Axes were the real MVPs. Yeah, 2.4, 2,000. This guy did alright. Barely paid for himself, but he wasn't on the field very long. These guys pay for themselves, I guess. It's just... Yeah, Cryswar are a difficult unit to use. These guys did not pay for themselves. So yeah, if anyone doesn't know how to make Rogue Crested Skinks work, I love Skinks. Love them to bits. If anyone's seen it, the mods are made for them. But they're so hard to get to use in multiplayer. And these guys will always pay for themselves. You get a good rock drop on them. Like, even with they just died immediately after. And these guys weren't used. And I did bring 4 Feral Cold ones, which I think was the right amount, especially with the Dwarves. Because they're just a good counterplay. Anyway, thanks for watching. Just one last thing before I wrap this video up. This is my first time kind of doing more longer form content and not doing modding videos. So if you enjoyed, obviously leave a like and subscribe, but more importantly, was I too close? Was I too far from the mic? Did I talk too much or too little? Was I too off topic? Should I focus on certain things? You know, what do you guys want to see in these kinds of videos, and do you enjoy them? Apart from that, thanks for watching.